What's up, Internet? I'm Claris Dracaris. I get nerdy nightly, and I thought I'd share it with you. Today we're talking about Subnautica Below Zero. There will be some slight spoilers near the end of the review, but I will let you know when we're getting into that territory. If you're here, you've probably already played the first original Subnautica, which is good because I am going to compare them a lot. Subnautica is a masterpiece, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. Its sequel gave me a lot of the things that I wanted, but it didn't shine quite in the same way as its predecessor. Why? Let's talk about it. Below Zero launches you directly onto planet 4546b, where you play a character Robin, who is looking for answers about her sister Sam's mysterious death working for Altera. Your life pod lands on solid ground above water, and this game quickly teaches you about how dangerous the climate can be. The new mechanic that has been introduced is body temperature, and if you do not get warm, you will freeze to death very quickly. This sets a great tone and sense of urgency for the rest of the game. You're quickly able to find a life pod, which is in the shallows near your crash site. From there, you're able to set up base and explore 4546b. There are some new creatures, as well as some Arctic versions of creatures that you're already familiar with. My favorite addition is the sea monkey, who at first was highly annoying and very frustrating, but after a few hours became the cutest, most beloved sea creatures I've ever known. I didn't experiment with the animal containment component of the game. However, if I did, I would really want a pet sea monkey. There are definitely less safe areas in Below Zero than there are in the original Subnautica, as there is a large variety of very dangerous creatures from small to large, as well as freezing temperatures and also falling ice. Some of the resources and items that you'll recognize from the first game have actually been improved upon in Below Zero, which I really enjoyed. Things like the flotation device are a lot more useful, and sulfur and cave sulfur have been combined just for sake of ease and taking up less storage space in your pod. I found most of the resources were pretty abundant and easy to come by, except for Magnemite. I really struggled with that one. I also loved the addition of the Recyclotron. So if you build things and you don't need that thing anymore, you can just break it down into the individual components and use it for something else. The vehicles in this game are also a lot different. I personally found myself missing my dexterous little sea moth. They've changed that for the sea truck, which has its uses for sure, but I personally did not enjoy driving it as much. The prawn suit also felt like less of a necessity. Most of the resources you can collect pretty readily, and so things like the drill arm weren't super useful. I found that they were game-changing in the first game, and in Below Zero, they don't make as big of a difference. Now for the plot. So Below Zero has two different storylines. The first storyline is you're trying to find out what happened to your sister Sam. Sam was working for Altera on this planet when a terrible accident occurred, and unfortunately she died. The second plot line is that you accidentally become a host for an architect. Yep, an architect. And its consciousness is living in your body, and you have to assist in building it a body so that it can leave your brain. I have to say, getting to see the architects that were mentioned in the first game, getting to know them, learning about them, and that history was really cool. Both storylines have very strong connections to the OG Subnautica, and I think that's both a plus and a minus. On the pro side, fleshing out this world and its history and being able to connect the dots back to the original game was very satisfying and rewarding. The biggest con of this is that I don't know if Below Zero is a great standalone game, because I found its connection to the original Subnautica to be more interesting than the plot. Subnautica was an expertly crafted emotional journey with some really beautiful takeaways to ponder for later. Below Zero was a good game that had a lot of heart. Don't get me wrong, I still really enjoyed Below Zero, but there's something special about Subnautica. That game touched me in a way, and it had me in tears at the end, and Below Zero, I did not have those same feelings. Now, before we get into spoiler territory, a lot of people have commented that Subnautica Below Zero is smaller and shorter than the original Subnautica. I don't agree with this. I think that if you played the original Subnautica before Below Zero, you had already taken the time to experiment with all those gadgets, build all the things, understand what all those resources were used for. And so in Below Zero, you're able to skip that experimental phase of the game. Now, I don't think it's much smaller. I think square footage wise, you can actually calculate that it is slightly smaller, but for me, it didn't feel smaller. The thing about the original Subnautica is you have this immense sense of loneliness on this huge, open, vast planet. Whereas Subnautica Below Zero definitely feels tighter and more compact, even though I don't think there was actually less in it to explore. Below Zero was so full of life and had so many Altera outposts and other things in it, no spoilers. I never felt that same sense of loneliness. Before we get into a couple spoilers, I just want to say that I really did enjoy Subnautica Below Zero. I think that this game is absolutely worth playing, even if it didn't quite live up to its predecessor. The most frustrating part of Below Zero for me is a spoiler. So if you do not want to be spoiled, please leave now and come back and watch this later. Okay, so the one thing that I really did not like was the thumper mechanic and the ice worms. I found that portion of the game incredibly frustrating. You're led to believe that the thumpers will help keep away these giant, scary ice worms, when I found that the thumpers probably only worked about 50% of the time, and the other 50% you just had to pray and run. You also kind of need to Google the Greek alphabet if you don't already know it to be able to read the maps properly, which I didn't love. So yeah. Other than that, I really did enjoy the game, and I would highly recommend it. If you like survival games and you don't have a fear of deep water, definitely pick it up, give it a try. Let me know what you think. If you've already played it, hit me up in those comments below. I want to know if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, what you thought about the game, and how it compares to the original for you. If you like this video and you want more content, please subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me. Ring that notification bell. You can also follow me over on Twitch, where I live stream video games, like Subnautica. I'm also over on TikTok and many other places. I will put all my links in the description below. Thanks for watching, and as always, do something nerdy tonight. Bye!